Look, obviously, the Strikers will start favourites. There's no doubt about that. But you can never write off South Hobart. No matter where they are in the ladder, how well they're playing, Ken Morton will get them up for this game.
Absolutely, they have a great history in this competition. Both sides have won it 6 times and will look to win it for a 7th time here, which would take them 2nd on the all-time list, equal with Olympia. Glenorchy Knights have 8. No one quite matching that, although Devonport are rapidly closing in. We'll take you through the starting lineups here today for this big cup final, starting with South Hobart. In goals, Nicholas O'Connell. He might have shipped 5 last week, but had a pretty good game against the Zebras, which doesn't say a whole lot about the form of South Hobart's defence, Carly.
That was truly a strange game of football. That I had to watch the highlights a couple of times just to. While there was some nice goals scored, there were some awful errors made at the back by both teams.
Yeah, I think Morton will be hoping they got them all out. So last week it was most un-South Hobart-like. They certainly offered a threat and attack. They scored for themselves, nearly equalised at the end. But O'Connell had a pretty good game, is what I'm trying to say, despite the fact he conceded 5. The defence will need to sort itself out a little bit if they're going to get in there. You'd imagine it'll be a back 4 of Toby Havainen, Lancaster and Bowman centrally. Bowman, a player who's performed on this stage many a times and well, but quite frankly had a howler last week. He's going to need to step up and play the level of football we know he can. Lockie Semler will slide in at left back, I'd imagine. They have at times been playing with a back 5 with players dropping into midfield. Lakoseljac playing as a 3rd centre-back. Started the year as a striker. He could be pulled anywhere. Lakoseljac, obviously a famous name, grandson of Milan. I'd imagine he partners Wadi Castaneda in central midfielder. He comes into the team, hasn't been playing in the league because the transfer window hasn't passed there, and he's still registered Glenorchy Knights, but he wasn't cup-tied, so he's eligible for this one. For those wondering where Wadi Castaneda's come from.
I like the idea of the transfer window and what it can bring over the next few weeks, but it's created some confusion with cup football.
It certainly has, but that's why Wadi Castaneda's lining up, and he takes Gus Higgins' spot from last week. The wingers, I think, are pretty nailed on. Iski Van Dorn and Jaden Fidra. This is probably the real strength of the South Hobart team. Their attack, they've been scoring for fun this year. Fidra and Van Dorn have got pace to burn down the flanks. On the wide expanses of KG5, it should suit them nicely. Sam Berezanski can play anywhere across the front, may well lead the line alongside probably the most informed player in the state, and quite possibly the key to their hopes tonight. Nick Morton enters this game with hat-tricks in his last 2 games.
That's good form to be coming in with, and he's just you give him an inch and he'll take a mile, and he's deadly around goals. And I expect Keegan Smith's had a few quiet games for the Strikers this year where he hasn't had to do much, but I expect he'll be busy tonight.
Yeah, he's a man for the big occasion, the Morthog. The bench is Sloan, Higgins, Riley Morton, Jake Hayes and Jackson Dent. To the Devonport Strikers, there's been a little bit of injury news about the Strikers. Coley will have that for you in a second, but both Toby Barton and Kieran Mulroney, who came into this one, have been passed fit, Bradley.
Yeah, so Kieran's been carrying a bit of a knee injury for a large part of the season. And I think people who saw the last league game against South Hobart, he had to go off in the first half. The knee's just sort of locked up on him. I think it's basically just a wear and tear injury. He's got a lot of stuff floating about. His knee that needs cleaning out. So I believe he'll be going in for surgery soon. So he's pretty much used up the Strikers' annual budget in strapping tape the last few weeks. That right knee is heavily strapped. And Toby Barton's the other concern, obviously, went off after about 5 minutes last week against Launceston United with an ankle injury. I believe the physio's diagnosis was that's a 3 to 6 week injury. Toby said, bugger that, I want to play this game.
Absolutely incredible. Just defying medical science there, Toby Barton. And he'll want to be fit because he'll have Iski Van Dorn and Jaden Fidra running at him. That will test him if he's not. The rest of the back 4 will be Dom Smith and Fahim Maradi. Smith's kind of slotted in at centre-back most of the time this year, with Barton pushing to the left, but they're pretty interchangeable with those two. Central midfield pairing, 2 of the best young players in the state. A joy to watch these two, Taylor Last and Charles Bidwell. They have really cemented their role in this team. Very important in the engine room. In attack, Roberto Fernandez Garrido leads the line. He is the most lethal marksman in the state. He's on the quest for another golden boot. He was the best on ground in the final last year. How big is Roberto Fernandez Garrido to this team, Brad?
He just scores them regularly. You can never count him out of a game. He will find a way to score a goal. Obviously, he's their chief penalty taker as well, which helps Devonport. He doesn't miss too many of those. So, yeah, he's a marksman of the highest quality in this league.
And the rest of the attack, Brodie Dennehy's been in some pretty good form. Expect him in a wide area. He'll give a fullback a test. He's in really sharp touch. Ali Dilla has been one of the players of the season and in big games has made his mark. He torched South Hobart Darcy Street before he got sent off.
Yeah, he'd only just come back from a bad hamstring injury, so sustained in the Summer Cup. So, yeah, he made a real blast when he came in, and then the next game as well against I can't remember who it was against, but he was really good that game. It might have been Kingborough.
Yeah, Kingborough down here.
Yeah, so look, you just have to tightly mark him. You can't give him running room, otherwise he'll be a threat all night.
Luke Bennett rounds out the attack. That's the starting 11 on the bench. Mitchell Burley, Max Arasig, Fletcher Cruden, Eli Wilson. So a fair bit of youth there, but also a bit of veteran nous and experience. A man for the big occasion, the Fox in the box, Miles Barnard.
And he's not near what he was a couple of years ago before that bad knee injury he suffered here in the Cup Final of 2021. But he's still a pretty handy guy to come off the bench, and he just gives that aerial threat. Whereas at the moment, the strikers with Robbie and Brodie and Nick and Lakoseljac, they're not really aerial threats. Miles gives you that aerial threat.
He does, and we saw against the Clarence Zebras in stoppage time. He came on there in his milestone game, came off the bench and struck in stoppage time there. So still has a key goal or two in the speaker system is as consistent and wonderful as ever at KGV Football.
Oh, look, new pitch, new lights, it's a start.
Old speaker system.
But no, look, the ground looks amazing with the new lights. The pitch is in, from all reports, from talking to some players and that, they love this new pitch. It's a really good synthetic pitch, and on a windy day, it will allow the players to play pure football.
Yeah, wind factor will certainly be prominent in this match. It certainly wreaked a little bit of havoc in the early games, but has settled down a little. It was bucketing down rain in the 17th final, so it has certainly improved, as we said, but it'll still be something they're going to need to deal with as we're just about ready to get underway here in the Cup Final. A quick tip before we start, Colin.
Oh, look, with the Devonport being on the app, you have to vote the strikers, but I don't expect anything less than a very solid performance from South.
So Barton, who's been past fit to play, rolls it to Ali Dollar. He'll take off down the left here, and he rolls it through for Bennett. And the archer Jack Bowden gets across to deal with it. So he,
coached by Tom Ballantyne, assistants Chris McKenna and
Lakoseljac dropping in deep to help the defence here. I mentioned he'll probably play as a third centre back at times. He's a big name out there for South, as they really need to sort that defence out. That's the key to their hopes today, is they've got plenty of firepower and goals. It's just whether they can keep them out against this winning machine that is Devonport. And an early threat here from Brodie Dennehy, but he won't be able to track that one down and rolls out a play.
It'll be interesting to see tonight how, with the wind, obviously it's still quite gusty out there, whether the teams try and elect to play more along the carpet, or whether and then try and limit the amount of aerial stuff to do, because the wind's going to affect a lot of passing tonight.
And Whitey Castaneda nodding it wide, playing in the championship, I believe, for South Hobart due to that league tie at Glenorchy Knights, where he started the season before making the move. But still been playing senior football, and in he comes for Gus Higgins. A little surprise to me. I think Higgins has been having a pretty good season for South Hobart, but Morton, he brought Castaneda across for a reason, poached him from Knights. He saw something he liked as Roberto Fernandez Garrido threatening to get in behind here, but the South defence across to deal with that. And he does loom large over this contest. So dominant on this day 12 months ago was the Spaniard. Can they find a way to put the clamps on him tonight? Barton to Dulla, repelled by Havinen. Scored the second goal in the 2-0 victory, or first goal, sorry, in the 2-0 victory they had in 2019. The one of the four that they did get over the top of South Hobart. And they'll put their hands up. That'll be a goal kick.
Looks like Ali may have gone to the hairdresser during the week for a fresh bleach, and that nearly just about matches the yellow kit.
Real Jibril Cisse type areas.
Yes, very much so.
But, yeah, look, he is an eye-catching player, and as an eye-catching salad, and if he gets a goal, watch out for an eye-catching celebration. The acrobatics will undoubtedly come out. He's an entertainer, Ali Dalla, and he gets on the ball here. Rolls it across to the impressive young Taylor Last, but Castaneda's able to work it to Morton. A man in serious form. Sam Berezanski will give chase to this, but it's too far ahead of him. out of play. So he really a front four with Morton, Berezanski, Fidra, and Van Dorn. So it's a lot of pace in the South Hobart team, and certainly with Barton and Mulroney, you suggested carrying injuries, they're going to be put to the test here.
Yeah, and Devonport aren't after Mulroney and Barton, they haven't got a lot more depth after that at that sort of centre-back, full-back position. Especially players the calibre of Kieran and Toby, who are just seasoned at this level.
A very decorated career, Kieran Mulroney, a striker skipper, looking for yet another cup to add to the trophy cabinet. Savinen overlaps here and he crosses looking for Van Dorn, but picks out only Keegan Smith. A nice, easy early touch for the strikers, number one.
He's had a couple of games this year where he hasn't really had a lot to do, so he'd be keen just get an early touch or two, I reckon, and just get the feel for the ball and all that sort of stuff. I think sometimes these goalkeepers there. I remember the Nathan Pitchford show used to always be interesting when he had having a quiet day. He just wandered up the pitch occasionally, just wanted to get himself involved.
Yeah, it can be a tough caper because the one moment you are called into action is going to be absolutely pivotal as Morton tries to get in behind Dom Smith, but Smith showing strength and shrugs off the attentions of Morton and eventually draws the foul. From our man in the middle today, Nathan Coe.
Ken's not happy.
Not happy with that one. But I think probably fair enough. Leaned on him a little there. Cody going to blow that one.
He's just imposing size, Nick Morton. He's
in such scintillating form. 6 goals in his last 2 games heading into this one. He perhaps holds the key to South Hobart's chances this evening, as we'll try and get in with Bennett down the left, but can't do so. Havinen across. That stunning volley he scored in 2019, I'm sure will be in his memory heading into this one. But more happy memories for the Devonport strikers in recent years in these deciders. They've won 3 of the 4 head-to-heads, and they are looking for a 3rd consecutive cup victory as they throw it to Dulla. Some fast feet. Is well defended by Jaden Fidra. Morton having to hold it up there, couldn't quite bring Fidra in, but they'll get the throw.
I love watching South Hobart play, just the way they can break so quickly and just get the ball upfield and play lovely diagonal passes across the pitch. They're very easy on the eye to watch South Hobart when in full flight.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. They've got some questions at the back, but what is not in question is their attacking ability and the swagger and style they can play with when they get up and about. Devonport, I think, will be quite happy for a stop-start ugly sort of a game. That would suit them just fine.
That's been their calling card over the last few years. I think they take away the opposition's greatest strength and just grind out the goals down the other end. They're not the highest scoring team in the world, but whether it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, you still get 3 points.
Absolutely. There's the throw. Headed away by Havinen. Lancaster for Van Dorn. Just let it run and then tries to win a foot race against Maradi. It's Iski Van Dorn. Plenty of yellow shirts back and just shut off there by Dennehy. Tonight in what he was after. Ali Dulla tried to spin Havinen, who clips him and sends him to the deck. And it'll be just a talking to from Mr. Code. But I'd expect a bit of physicality on Dulla.
I think so. I think that's the way you've got to play him. You can't give him running room, and otherwise he will tear you to shreds. And he has stayed down a little bit here, Ali, which isn't a good sign for the strikers.
No, definitely.
Shades of Toby Barton last week.
Yeah, they obviously in the 4th minute there, Barton had to be replaced.
There is a car parked over the driveway in Anfield Street. The people can't get out. It's a white Toyota.
So some concern here for the strikers. Ali Dulla looking in some distress. Such a key man for them. And a live wire. He's a dynamic player and he looks, I'd say at this stage, unlikely to continue based off his initial reaction.
He's in a lot of trouble. Just searching for the Devonport physio.
Yeah, some hold up there, but he has stayed down, hasn't moved a whole lot, and not really any reason to be running clock. It's the 5th minute of the match, so I mean, we look to the bench Probably a bit early for Miles Barnard to be coming on.
Speedy winger isn't really Miles' forte these days.
It'll definitely be a shift in formation if he comes on, but I think South Hobart maybe with a couple more options on the benches. The trainer eventually does get called.
Might have been in there celebrating with the under-21 boys after their 4-0 win over South East United this afternoon.
An impressive performance in that one. They can't bring Payne off the bench like they did in the 21s.
Geordie Payne would be handy.
Geordie Payne would be very handy right now. Second half hat-trick for him in that 4-0 victory, but this is a big story early on here. Ali Dulla, who only lasted about 40 minutes last time he played South. That was due to running into trouble with the referee. But in the 40 minutes he was on, it was a dynamic display.
We've got a bit of movement. He looks like he's going to try and get up and see what sort of weight he can put on it. That doesn't look good to start with.
So some concerns for the strikers here.
Looks like the right lower leg. So I imagine they'll give him a period of time where he can go to the sidelines and try and get it sorted out. But Coach Tom Ballantyne won't want to be playing against South Hobart with 10 men for too long.
No, definitely not something you can afford to go, especially on a wide pitch like KG5 where the numerical advantage really does equate to more space. But hobbling off and an early concern for the favourites here. Chris Vissery.
Just having a look down at the strikers bench here. The subs are warming up, but no one's making their way over to the interchange area here as yet.
Well, they'll give Dulla every chance to recover as this one's sent long, headed away. The strikers try and find Bennett, couldn't quite do so. Back towards the Spaniard, and the referee blows the foul. So self-defence, I think we'll be happy to just negotiate the opening 10 minutes here after last week, where they were really cut apart by the Zebras. The outfit who Devonport only just snuck past in the semi-final themselves, which is really just the most Devonport thing ever. They just found a way.
Yeah, Brody Dennehy there in the 85th, 86th minute.
Rallied back to win 3-2 in advance. Campolino hitting the penalty. It could well have been a Zebras.
It was an afternoon full of drama up the Portress. It was I've never seen the Valley Road crowd go so quiet after going 2-0 down. It was they were up and about the Zebras supporters.
They would have been wondering what's happened. I mean, it can't have happened so many times in the last 7 years, Devonport going 2 down.
Well, like the first goal was in 45 seconds. I was standing next to the club president, Drew Smith, at the time, and he hadn't even he wasn't quite sure what had happened.
So play resuming, Dulla getting looked down the touchline, but for now South with a numerical advantage. Smith bending this one along. And flies over Lakoseljac's head to Bowman. Who's looking for Fidra, but Barton always likely to have his number in the air, so Fidra doesn't even bother with it.
Dulla's certainly been able to put a little bit more weight on that right leg, but it does not look good. I'd say he's going to be substituted off, and it looks like Max Reisig's doing some stretches, coming to meet Mr. Copper, the fourth official now.
As Bennett goes down under pressure from Bowman, but Bennett's Rhino fouled, so yeah, it looks like Max Reisig set to be thrown into the fire. So an enormous blow for the strikers here. Star wonder Ali Dulla doesn't even last 10 minutes. That is a real blow. So South, they'll take heart from that. As Berezanski drops deep to get on the ball here.
It'll be interesting to see what Tom Ballantyne does now to the midfield, where Max sort of slots in.
It's like Taylor Last might be pushing on. That might just be temporary though, as Nick Morton holds the ball up. Plays in Castaneda. Tries to spring Semler, who's pushed high up the pitch. That's usually a feature of South Hobart's, the way they set out. They love getting those fullbacks up into the overlapping positions.
So it looks like maybe Luke Bennett's going to be the wide man now. Certainly got a bit of pace, Luke Bennett.
Thrown over the head of Fernandez Garrido. Lancaster goes looking for Morton, and Dom Smith just rises over the top of him and nods into touch. I've got to say, those new light towers looking absolutely fantastic. A bit more illuminated than past years.
It's a lovely sight.
Ziski Van Dorn rolls it in, but couldn't find Morton. Kieran Mulroney steers clear. Lakoseljac. Again, the cup named for his grandfather. What an occasion for Bradley Lakoseljac. He takes that one away from Taylor Lust. There's Rosig. And Garrido flicks it over the top looking for the pacey Dennehy. And Dennehy's caused trouble here. Oh, he almost picked the pocket there of Lockie Semler. Got himself into a little bit of trouble, but just about dealt with it.
Semler thought he had it covered, then Dennehy switched sides on him. And he's pickpocketed a few blokes this year, Brody, and nearly done the same there again.
He has got tremendous closing speed as it's thrown into the area for Fernandez Garrido. Everyone appeals for it, and the strikers get the corner, much to the disbelief of the South Hobart players. When they react like that, I tend to think it's genuine.
Yeah.
It was hands to heads. Outrage here. South not happy, but they'll have a corner to defend. So
interesting to see the first real test of the South defence. Obviously, I'm sure Ken's been working on some stuff at training this week after leaking 5.
Bennett to take. Sends it in. Some tall timber headed down by Smith, and O'Connell's out there, and he does the job. As O'Connell had a pretty good game last week against the Zebras, made a couple of stunning saves. But geez, he was a busy man in goal. As Havainen pumps this one down the line, South breaking with speed. Iski Van Dorn, the Calgary Flyer, looking to get on and swing it in towards Morton. Just held up though, didn't quite pick him out last. Helps it on to Garrido. The Spaniard with a silky first touch as a pass, and Dennehy lurking, but steered away by Lancaster. Havainen couldn't find Fidra. And the South Hobart throw in, so 15 minutes into this one. A real clear-cut opening to speak of, but Ali Duller out, the biggest story so far.
Yeah, Devonport just take a little bit of time here just to adjust.
As Fidra looks to pounce, but Barton able to see it away.
And there's Ali just walking past us now on the sideline here, and with the team manager Shane Eastwood, and that ankle. If we think it's an ankle, lower right leg injury there, it's he's done for the night, and it's a real shame. Shame for the crowd because he's an exciting player to watch.
He is one of the great entertainers. His last just treads on the ball. Castaneda slid in and spills wide for Fahim Maradi. Having a good year at fullback for the Strikers. Tried to find Taylor last, but away from him it goes. All right, Lancaster, Castaneda brings it down. Tried to play in Fidra, but just impacted his pass a little. Devine charging forward, just got a little push in the back from Bennett, and the referee was awake to it.
I don't think Bennett can have any arguments here with the referee. It was just subtle, but when they're both running at full speed, the Bennett was always going to be in trouble there.
Yeah, it doesn't take much when you're flying at top speed. A little shove will do it. So South Hobart on a set piece, and they've got a few likely takers. Looks like Wadi Castaneda will be charged with the free kick duties here. They've got plenty of bodies forward. 6 in the box for South here. Castaneda sends it in deep, too deep. Smith probably could have caught it, opted to punch. Dennehy rises to nod it clear. Iski Van Dorn has history in Cup Finals. Was outstanding in that 2019 win for South, and he rolls this one into the channel. Berezanski looking to get involved with Lakoseljac, who just wins the throw in. Van Dorn, the Canadian, will leave the throw-in duties to Lockie Semler. Van Dorn, Maradi gets a foot in. Castaneda, smashed clear by Smith. I'm sure he was trying to pick out Bennett, but did so nicely. Now Bennett shows some pace, and he's torn in behind Havainen. Fortunately, Van Bowman across in coverage. A little unsure there, it was Toby Havainen. There's Castaneda. Now Jack Bowman taking it forward for South. They attack wide for Morton. Sliding in was Barton. And it'll be a South Hobart throw.
Yeah, Barton seems to be moving okay. That ankle's not giving him too much grief at the moment.
Here's Jaden Fidra. Morton.
7 days ago, he was on crutches and had ice on it at Valley Road.
Lazarus-like recovery from Barton to play in this one. And that's just will to not want to miss the final. But I guess he might have been a few painkillers to get him out there tonight.
Yeah, I reckon something a little bit stronger than Advil, I reckon.
Yes. But he's got out there, and there's no doubt they'd be desperate to have him involved. Such a key man for this Devonport team, and a real two-way player. He's defensively rock solid. He gets forward, and he's a threat from set pieces. He's just such a big part of the way they set up.
He was so consistent last year for Devonport. He won their club best and fairest, which was a great feather in his cap. But well deserved.
As Maradi goes looking for Fernandez Garrido. Pure silk from the Spaniard. Brings it down to Taylor Last. Bennett sliding it through. It's Fernandez Garrido. And it's turned aside by O'Connell. A fairly comfortable one, but he puts it behind for a corner.
I don't think he just didn't quite get the purchase on it he was probably looking for. But made O'Connell work there. And O'Connell was certainly up to the task.
You never want to get done at your near stick as a keeper. And O'Connell shut that down. And he's certainly got long levers and he put them to use there. So another corner for the Strikers here. Whipped in towards the back post. Smith heads it down. Cleared away though by South Hobart. Van Dorn just gets bumped into quite blatantly there by Charles Bidwell. And Van Dorn goes down and gets the free kick. Bidwell just making his presence felt. Shielding that back four tonight. It seems like Ian Rice now slightly deeper, and Taylor Last is pushing on the most advanced. Such a fantastic young player, Taylor Last. He established himself last year. Here's Jack Bowman. No stranger to Cup Finals. Sends this one just a bit too far out ahead though. Berezanski. Again, Garrido's first touch is superb and he's off to the races here. He sends it wide and the cross will come in. Brody Dennehy, oh, he was looming at the back stick.
Lurking.
But Semler got across.
As soon as that cross come in, you just see the trajectory was just nice, and Brody had his the eyes lit up there, but good defence there from South Hobart.
Yeah, Semler got his position, he's spot on, has just peeled off very intelligently there, Brody Dennehy. He's a man in a rich vein of form as Bennett to take the corner once more. Deep and headed away, but they'll get a chance for a secondary ball in here. And cross coming in. Dangerous ball again, and it might fall here for Bennett, but getting across to deal with that Lakoseljac and then that. Well, there'll be an advantage paid. Will it be a slice of cheese is the only question. Mr. Code normally wants to give him a warning before he doles out the dairy, and he gives him a very firm warning.
He's been to the Brendan Copper School of hand signals there. No more.
Well, I hope he's got a similar kind of philosophy on additional time if we're level late on. I've had a word with Cody pre-game about his need to maximise the minutes, so we'll see how he fares. As Berezanski gets on the ball. Knocks it back to Bowman.
I'm not sure my ski jacket's thick enough to survive extra time in a penalty shootout tonight, Andrew.
Yeah, it could get a little icy. Not the greatest conditions, but certainly an improvement on what we had earlier as Castaneda rolls it through for Berezanski, trying to thread the eye of the needle, shut down by Toby Barton. And South coughed the ball up in midfield. Lakoseljac puts his foot in, but it was an advantage paid, so it'll be back for the Strikers' free kick. 21 minutes gone. Pretty good tempo to this game so far.
Yeah. Devonport probably just the slightly better chances, but South Hobart just whenever they get that ball in midfield and you see their guys surge forward, Devonport about to snuff that out every time so far, but it's only going to be a matter of time for South Hobart.
Here's Sam Berezanski. Seems to grow an inch every time I've seen him, and he sends this one along. Stretching was Mulroney, and that knee held together by athletic tape, holding up just fine there as he steers that one clear. And Bennett now down the left. Always keen to run at the defence and switches it to Dennehy, who peeled off intelligently into space, but the ball not quite what they needed.
Bennett's made an encouraging start here for the Strikes. He's had obviously an import come from England, good friends with Roberto Fernandez Garrido. He's had a mixed season so far, but he's started off well here tonight.
He's certainly looking to run at this defence at every opportunity. He might have watched the tape last week and thought, look at my lips here with this matchup. There are a few holes I can find, but South's defence holding on all right for the time being, but he looks likely and he looks lively. Attacking from the left, Dennehy with pace from the right. Fernandez Garrido, who's just had a silk first touch every time the ball's come near him, will certainly give Bowman and Lancaster a few headaches at the back. Morton hasn't quite been able to get as involved as he would like just yet in this one. And that will be brought back after deflecting off Nathan Coe.
I think the strikers tonight will appreciate actually the synthetic surface, because I know Valley Road the last few weeks has started to get a bit bobbly. So it's had a fair bit of traffic on it. You're looking at sort of 6-7 games over the course of the 2 ground, looking at 3 or 4 games on the main ground most weeks, and it's just starting to just get a bit bobbly. So I'm sure they'll appreciate the smoother surface here at KG5.
Yeah, I think the surface will suit both teams. South and team who like to get the ball along the deck and play it is slightly wayward pass.
Commentators curse.
I think it was just not being on the same page as his wide man there. Didn't make the run he was expecting. But yeah, the wind will make the aerial balls a bit tough, but no excuses along the surface tonight. Here's Bowman. A little back heel from Morton, dropping deep, trying to get himself involved. Coming into this game off the back of consecutive hat-tricks, he's Nick Morton, the man in serious touch. Last, Barton. And again, foul blind. Devonport happy to get the set piece rather than take it quickly. And the cavalry marauds forward.
Had Mrs. Smith, Mulroney and Barton.
Cut an imposing trio. So no shock they want to take the opportunity here. They go looking for Mulroney. The flag's been raised by the AR. Someone had just strayed slightly. She'll frustrate the coach. No real excuse for
my
offside
tip's Brody Dennehy.
Brody Dennehy.
He's good for an offside or two, Brody.
He plays on the line.
He does.
Here's Nick Morton now. Morton squares it up, but just couldn't quite find Fidra. He's quick, but he's not quite that quick, and Smith gathers.
Yeah, I'm keen to see Fidra tonight. Obviously, there's big raps on him. And it's been a handy pickup for South Hobart.
He was great at Launceston City last season, and you can see Morton was keen to get him in and slowly worked him into the team. Didn't start too much in the first couple of months, but the last few weeks has nailed a starting spot. And his first half against Kingborough was as good a 45 minutes as I've seen anyone play this year. As that one's through, and with an aimless ball there. But loves to run at defenders, and if there's open space in front of him, not many can go stride to stride with Jaden Fidra. We'll test out Barton's fitness, that's for sure. So Smith sends it wide. Just setting a bit too much of a task there for Bennett. Devonport doing a pretty good job showing down the options, but eventually they work it to Fidra. Just gets pressure from behind there by Smith. Back to Lakoseljac. Lockie Semler. Semler rolling it forward. Then Dawn tried to let it run, couldn't do so, then sets it out in front of Fidra, but Dom Smith alert to the danger and shuts it down.
Good to hear Vuvuzelas have made an appearance tonight at KG5 as well, Andrew. Look forward to...
I reckon that was the bicycle horn. I'm not sure that was the Vuvu.
No, not the Vuvu, not the Vuvu.
I think that was the bicycle horn. Fidra, back heel. Having been to South Africa for that World Cup, I'm very familiar with the Vuvu, I assure you.
Many a sleepless night.
All I'll say is you don't really know how loud they are until you've walked through a tunnel with 5,000 people playing. At that point, geez, the reverberation is nuts. Here's Brody Dennehy as we get back to the action. Fernandez Garrido, the Spaniard, squaring it up for Bennett. He had some space to shoot, but he couldn't keep his effort down.
He doesn't mind a long-range shot, Luke Bennett. I've watched him closely for the strikers, and he's not afraid to shoot on sight.
I think it was a lovely volley earlier in the season from outside the box. One of the goals of the season he hit. That was a cracking strike. So he's certainly capable from distance. Jesus, guys. I just saved my iPad and lose a cupcake in the process.
Oh, no.
Personal space not big round these parts, apparently. Anyway. Shop in there if you want, guys. Shop in there if you want. Anyway, just getting the crowd sorted. Back to the action.
Excellent crowd control, Andrew.
Yeah, it's starting to block my view. It's becoming a problem. Yes. This one's chipped over the top. Bowman Beaten here, and as Garrido looks to get to work. Semler. Lancaster. And he retreats back to Nicholas O'Connell. Bowman. Decisively away.
I think South will be happy with their 28 minutes now. I think South will be reasonably happy. They've been solid at the back, and they haven't conceded that early goal. I think they can just keep pace with Devonport here. They can look to maybe get them on the counter.
And certainly keen to try and get Bennett running at Hobart early in this one. And he has to run the defence every chance. Lofted throw into space. Vinen steers it back, and Bowman tries to prevent the corner and did so.
Excellent work there by Bowman. Been a regular fixture on this day. Played the hard man role a few times.
South Hobart Anglinawky Knights. He's been a successful player. Started this one well as the archer, and he'll try and shield this one out. And lets it run through for O'Connell. So South defence came into this game with some question marks on, but early on, you'd be happy with what they're saying. They've clamped down substantially from last week. Jack Bowman sends it for Morton. Morton trying to take a man on, tries to go the long way around the outside, but that avenue shut down by the experienced Mulroney. They're doing a pretty good job shackling Morton early in this one.
Yeah, he's another one. You give him that space to run into, and he'll cut you to ribbons. But you see there, Mulroney, they play a tight marking game, the strikers.
Space at a premium as South try and spring something here. Berezanski playing it forwards, but no one had made the run central. And straight through to Keegan Smith. Smith tick towards the half-hour mark here in the Cup Final. Scoreless so far, a tight battle. The strikers probably just edging the territorial and half chances, but nothing too significant. Dennehy up against Semler, who heads clear. Berezanski, Morton holds it up, and then he threads it through for Van Dorn. Mulroney stretching to get across and deal with him. Iski Van Dorn, lovely ball for Castaneda. It's Castaneda. Oh, slightly rash slide there, but did work not to make contact. That could have been disastrous.
I was waiting for Castaneda to go down. I thought that tackle was just timed badly, but in hindsight, it was timed very well.
He moved away from it. If he had just taken a step back, he might have been able to draw something there, Wardy. It's dangerous when you hit the deck. You take your fate out of your own hands a little. As Van Dorn shielding the ball nicely, then cutting to the byline. Maradi defending strongly. Brilliant from Van Dorn, but a foul's called. It was Toby Barton. Cops quite the nasty falcon there. He'll be feeling that one. That was hit with some venom. The relieving free kick. We'll see a promising attack go to waste for South Hobart. Iski Van Dorn just arguing the point with Mr. Code.
But again, they haven't done a lot, but when South Hobart have gone forth, they just look so dangerous. You just expect them to square one to an unmarked guy in the box and score.
As Dom Smith shows a little bit of pizzazz.
Not known for his tech as Dom Smith, but he's pretty much a meat and potatoes defender.
Yeah, he is. He's very good at what he does, but certainly not really one you'd expect to be pulling out the bag of tricks too often. Taylor last looking to combine with Bennett. The run comes from Fernandez Garrido. That's where he heads, but Bowman across to deal with it. Certainly got some good leg speed, Jack Bowman. And they need it up against this striker's front line. Toby Barton. Holds it through. Garrido. Crossed in for Dennehy, but Semler again well parked back there. Taylor last hitting one, but just gets underneath it and skies it over the bar.
Anyone who can score a goal from outside the box tonight's doing well. With this bruise, it's certainly not as bad as it was this afternoon, but it's still enough to really affect those shots.
Yeah, the trees have died down a little in the background, and it doesn't feel like the the stand roof's about to blow off as it did at parts of the 21's final.
We're about to move to Kansas. It was blowing that hard this afternoon.
There's Berezanski surrounded by yellow shirts, so just plays it to Semler. Iski Van Dorn. Berezanski punches one down the line for Nick Morton. Mulroney gets across. Mulroney with strength. He's made an absolute career out of that type of stuff. Big Kieran Mulroney. He found the extra yard of pace when he needed it, and he got to it first. Here's Roberto Fernandez Garrido. Plays the early ball, trying to spring last. Bowman repels. Lakoseljac. Oh, here's an opening for Jaden Fidre if he can track it down. It's Fidre, he's got Morton in the middle. It's Nick Morton! And it was taken away from him at the last second by a backtracking Bidwell.
So all of a sudden it's opened up here now.
As Devonport looked to hit back the other way, Bennett dancing on the football and showing some skills there, works it up to Denny. Full commitment from Castaneda, wins it back, and Lancaster in the end just says, I'll settle this thing down by blasting it the length of the pitch.
I think everyone just needs to take a breath after that 90 seconds of play.
Frenetic.
It was just, that ball was just a fraction behind Morton. The eyes lit up, you can see what he wanted to do, but the ball was probably a foot, half a foot, just behind him.
And Bidwell had tracked the run well to boot as Semler gets across to put that one into touch. Fahim Maradi with the throw. Dennehy nods down. Fernandez Garrido. Lakoseljac winning it back. Morton looking to hold off the attentions of Smith, but Smith again with strength. Morton plays for the free kick. But Nathan Code quite right, I think, to tell him to get up. That was just good, strong defending from Dom Smith. And now Bennett back the other way for the Strikers. Surging to the heart of the defence, but he surged straight to full red shirts, and they shut that down pretty quick.
He's clocking up the early miles, Luke Bennett.
He certainly is. Berezanski now back the other way. Plays the early ball, trying to spring Morton, but again, that one well shut down by Mulroney. Bidwell. Semler cuts it out. Berezanski. Maradi. Dennehy. Winning it back was Van Dorn. Oh, slick move too from Iski Van Dorn. He squares it to Morton. Dwells on the ball for a moment. Needs some support from Semler. 3 in the box here for South. Nick Morton might fancy the shot. It's Morton. And he got well and truly underneath it. And he puts it over the wet area.
And apologises.
And gets a serve from his old man on the near touchline in the process. I think he's probably got that licence, Nick Morton, with the form he's in. But he didn't quite catch that right. And when you don't, you get blasted.
That's right. He'll probably still get his pocket money this week, I think, Nick. He'll still be in the good book. He might come around for a Sunday roast.
Well, if he's on a goals per game contract, his bank balance will be doing all right.
He's laughing.
Having himself some sort of season is Nick Morton. In fact, a couple of years, really. He's been just about the most dominant player in the state over the last 2 years, has Nick Morton. That one floats over the top. Lancaster heads clear last to Brodie Denny. Demands some movement from last and then threads it through to him. Garrido peels off towards the near post. Support came from Semler and Castaneda. And between them, they can spot to clear it, but then rather slicing the clearance with Semler and didn't get much purchase on that one.
No, so he was looking to obviously go up the line there, but a bit like one of my golf shots.
Big snap slice.
Yes.
Garrido, clever back heel. Brodie Dennehy. Across the face. They're taking a little touch, not in the referee's view. So just hook wide. A shot across the bows of South Hobart there.
Denny was... he found himself in a nice little bit of space there. South will be wanting to make sure that gets closed down a little bit quicker next time.
It's a few times he's peeled off into some space, Brodie Dennehy. His movement off the ball has been really sharp to start this one. Whereas Bennett's been more on the ball, running at the defence. Dennehy's always been doing off the ball. A lot of the attacks coming down the left, and that's made the space down the right for Brodie. As Fidra lays it back. High into the night sky it goes. Off the head of Mulroney, out the back to Barton. And now Bidwell. Bidwell, a little outside of the boot ball, but straight to Semler, who just lofts it into space for Iski Van Dorn in a one-on-one with Maradi. Here's Van Dorn, looks to stand him up. Support comes from Dennehy. A little isolated here, the Canadian. He's going to have to do it himself. And he does so, and then Berezanski joins in. There's some nice work there from the Calgary Flyer, Van Dorn. The attack continues. Semler now can swing in across. Backtracking is Smith, but again, the end product just not quite been there from South Hobart.
That was lovely work down the corner there by Van Dorn. 2 defenders and got through him easily.
Well, you kind of had to wait. You had to buy time till that support came. He was on his own, but back heel was delightful. Miski capable of unlocking a defence. So South sweating on the short option, so Smith will just punt it long, and that was read there by Lakoseljac. Into space for Van Dorn. Dennehy shadowing him. Similar, again, just not quite getting the direction on these balls down the line.
No. Certainly not a wind thing. The wind's probably more going... Well, just looking at the flags on the other side of the ground, it's probably going more across the ground, heading towards the city, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly not excusing those ones as he gets back on it here, similar, but Bidwell able to intercept. He works it to Garrido, to Dennehy. Nicely defended there by Lancaster. Getting across to deal with him. Murati. Bidwell. Bidwell retreats back to the old warhorse, Kieran Mulroney. That veteran that's a real staple of the defence of so much of this Devonport dynasty. And now perhaps a chance here. That was a delightful ball for Taylor Last. He turns onto the right. Bowman lunging in and got the ball, says Code. Great challenge, Bowman. Had to make it if he got it wrong.
Taylor Last went troppo.
Oh, and he'll get back on it here. No, he won't. He'll be brought back for the foul on Bidwell.
Last still arguing with Mr. Code, but it's not going to do him any favours. I've never seen a ref change his mind.
No, certainly not. And I've seen a ref become prejudiced against a player after one's been chirping at him all game, so doesn't serve too much purpose. Last. It's certainly a crucial challenge on the edge of the area from Bowman. You get that wrong, you're in real trouble.
Yeah, no, Last was ready to load up and test O'Connell in goals there.
So a couple over the ball here for the Strikers. Again, the cavalry sent forward, those 3 big defenders. Presenting...
They need Georgia King from this range.
Long-range blast, you reckon? Oh, Bidwell tried to take it round Morton. Charged down by Berezanski. Last. Couldn't get past a couple, but fell for Bidwell. Sharply back onto the left and then played into the back of Last. He was just trying to pick the run of Garrido. And now perhaps a chance for Morton, but as well shut down by Dom Smith. Intelligently reading the play, composed as ever. He's ball a good one to the Spaniard. Bennett. Back to Garrido. Garrido returns it for Bennett. Havainen defending his flank well. He steers it away and gets a foul to boot. So that'll bail him out.
Unceremoniously bundled over the line there by Bennett. An easy decision for Mr. Code.
Well, he's got the double arm. No more of that too. You know he's speaking with authority when the double arm swipe comes out.
There might be some slices of cheddar come out for any more of that stuff.
Yeah, Bennett's been firmly put on notice there. So we're ticking towards half-time here. It's snuck up on me here half-time. It's been a good pace to the match. But no goals to speak of just yet.
You just get the feeling this is just going to be a one goal will separate them, I think.
It does have a little tinge of that at the moment. Who will make themselves the hero, or indeed the villain? Dom Smith. Sends it wide for Dennehy. Clever little ball. Ooh, trying to make some inroads here. Rising in the header almost from Fernandez Garrido. Just past the near post. The Spaniard, it's as close as anyone's come.
That's the best chance of the night. He just had to backpedal a bit there and he couldn't quite get the power and direction he wanted as he was moving backwards.
As Bidwell wins it high up the pitch, squares it to Taylor Last. Threads one for Dennehy, but just too far ahead. And again, it was a good run from Dennehy.
He's been a threat all night, hasn't he? Be interested to see what Ken does at half-time with the tactics on Brodie.
Track those runs with a message. And Devonport, I don't think Devonport are going to want the half-time whistle here. They're just starting to turn the screws a little.
I think so, Andrew.
South would probably be happier to hear the whistle as Havainen Just gets robbed of it by Bidwell. Starting to get on top in the engine room here. As they work this one back to Dom Smith. Smith driving it, looking for Brody. Dennehy, great touch. But the good recovery speed from Semler sees him steer it away. Murati.
That might be a foul throw.
Literally dropped it out of his hands.
He got caught in two minds there, Murati.
He just kind of dropped it. Well, advantage will be paid here because it might open up for South. Iski Van Dorn tearing off through the middle of KG5. Taylor Lyles tracks back and makes a vital challenge, and he is not a happy camper. It is kicking off in the middle here, and Cody is going to bring out a dose of dairy. As tempers flare at KG5.
Well, that just exploded out of nowhere, that.
It's a furious reaction from Taylor last.
Gave him the rounds of the kitchen while he was laying on the ground there.
And into the book goes Iski Van Dorn. Last. Absolutely ropeable.
I'm not sure Van Dorn can consider himself a little unlucky to get that slice of cheddar, do we think? Looking at the replay?
He must have got him with his trailing leg into the shin, I reckon, after the ball. I think because last didn't go down like a sack of spuds. It seemed like there was nothing, but his reaction suggests there was some pretty studs kind of contact there. And Codes dished it for the yellow. Anyway, well handled by the referee, and cooler heads prevail. We're back underway. Bennett. Reisig.
Oh, nice shoulder there by Bennett.
Now they try and spring Morton, but Dom Smith has just been reading everything and cutting it out today. Morton, more than capable of that magic moment to win a cup final, but has been subdued so far. Smith getting the better of him in the duels. And he tries to feed Van Dorn, but Mulroney's there to steer clear.
Interesting to see what Devonport do in the second half with Dennehy. The last few weeks it's been Dennehy or Nicola. Now Atkinson plays 60 minutes. The other one comes on for 30. But Dennehy's been one of Devonport's best so far.
And no Nicolay on the bench today, of course, as Havinen gets across to deal with this. And Nori had to make one attacking sub in Ali Dulla being replaced. So perhaps not depth in options. Valentine might have to rely on his starting 11 to get the job done.
Yeah, actually didn't realise Nicolay wasn't on the team sheet.
Yeah, he's curious omission. Can only think he's picked up an injury because he did. It's a pretty good touch.
Time, 2 minutes.
There's 2 minutes of additional time, a signal by Mr. Copper, the fourth official today, I think. As that one's out of play for a South Hobart throw. Compelling battle here at KG5, and the wind's starting to pick up once again.
I now know why you asked me about Nicolay pre-game, and I just thought it was a general question because I just assumed he was playing.
No, look, it wasn't inquiring about his well-being, just more his absence from the team sheet. As this one bounces for Morton, he lofts it over the top. It might fall for Iski Van Dorn! And he squanders a glorious chance for South Hobart.
Oh, South Hobart won't get one as good as that for the rest of the game.
A play you'd like it to fall to as well.
That's the South Hobart threat. They get into that running room out front, and they just look so threatening.
Iski Van Dorn scored in that 2019 Cup Final victory. Probably slightly stiff not to get the best on that day. Iski Van Dorn, if I recall, was scintillating down the flanks, but a missed opportunity there. Both teams have now come close once. And that one's out off Fidra. Time enough for Devonport if they can find something here. Rising was last, but off his head for a throw.
They've already decided to stop the clock on the scoreboard.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does stop his time.
It's got a flat foot. It's only got 45 in it.
So I was a bit confused with the 40-minute halves earlier, I tell you, in the under-17s. Didn't know what to do there. It was Fidra. Looks to turn his man, but a difficult man to do that to is Toby Barton. He won it back. Morton the target here, but diving in front of him was Mulroney. Ever the warrior. And did Bowman just leave a little in there?
I think just caught Fernandez?
Yes.
Yeah, Garrido just on the on the leg there.
So one last opportunity here in the first half for the Strikers. It'll be the last opportunity of the half, you'd imagine, the whistle to follow. And the Strikers take a lead in the shadows of half-time. They have sent plenty of bodies forward. There's 7 up there to pick out. Over the head of Barton, hits the deck. Barton following up, steered away again. Always a threat when it hits the deck in the area like that. This one almost found Dennehy. South Hobart repel again. Berezanski doesn't clear the area, but it might not matter because the half-time whistle is there. And a pretty excited reaction there, I'd say, from the South Hobart players who seem the happier of the two teams for it to be 0-0 at half-time.
I think so, Andrew. Like I say, they had a golden chance there through Van Dorn a minute ago, which probably should have put them 1-0 up. On the balance of possession, Devonport have probably been the better team. But they haven't really tested O'Connell in the goal. So yeah, I think South Hobart will be quite happy with that half.
Well, after the defensive display they put in last week, I think it's just been night and day. They have been so much better at the back here. They've clamped down, they've made some good challenges, they've won the aerial duels. One good chance for Fernandez Garrido, but beyond that, largely kind of half chances from range. South Hobart, they haven't created a heat themselves, but they've had that threat on the break. And Van Dorn got that one opening. It's just going to be a matter of taking it. I think that might be what determines this final. Who can just seize the moment? Because I don't think we're expecting many goals in this game to open up that much.
I think it'll come down to a mistake. If a mistake at either end from a defender or a goalkeeper, and that could be the difference.
So half-time here in the 2023 Lakoseljac Cup Final at KG5. Scoreless at the moment, but an entertaining first half. And plenty more to come. We'll be back in around about 10 minutes' time with the second half here. 0-0 at the break. Don't go anywhere.
Doing another draw for the lucky tickets, so check your tickets. This is a blue ticket, B004. B004 for a Matilda's package. If you've got that, come down to the front, please. And the other ticket we're drawing is on a black ticket, E78. That's black E78. If you've got that, come down. We've got a Matilda's package for you. The only people that should be on the pitch at half-time are the players and officials. We can't have spectators walking onto the pitch. Thank you.
again, Alison. I haven't seen Greg Carroll, General Manager of Football Chaz. With the presentation at the end of the game. That's brilliant, mate. I'll have someone come up and bring you down, just as we did. Alison, we're old heads. We're old heads. Yeah, no, we'll make it nice and easy just to turn your head off to the winners, etc. I'm going to prep. I'll prep the lines, Alison. I'll prep them.
I just naturally assumed that's how we were going.
I've got to be careful what I. Yeah. No, that's good. All right. I'll see you a bit later on, Tony.
second half of the cup. The score at the moment is still 0-0.
So we're back for the second half here at KG5. Scoreless through 45 minutes. Thoroughly compelling contest developing. What are we expecting from this second 45 minutes, Bradley Cole?
Oh, look, there was a couple of patches there during that first half where the game just opened up completely, and that was it was quite exciting. I expect the first 10 minutes probably to be a bit cagey. So I think now the stakes have just got a bit higher. Probably the first 10 minutes be a bit cagey, then someone's got to go searching for a goal. So it'd be interesting to see which team really starts flooding numbers forward to get that goal.
As Morton just dummies him and then kicks off for Taylor Last about 5 metres in the opposite circle, but play on over the top looking for Jaden Fidra, but Barton sees that out of play.
Fair to say, I think South going with the wind this half.
Yes.
Favouring that. It's probably more of a cross bruise, but it's
been a bit swirly in this game so far,
I must say, it really picked up during that half-time break.
Dennehy, the target in the air, just floated over his head, flicked on by Garrido. Lakoseljac's been really good today. Worked that one to Castaneda, but he couldn't find Fidra.
Good to see Lakoseljac after his disappointment last year, with that shoulder injury too.
Yeah, back on the big stage, that famous name playing in the competition name for his grandfather. Here's Bennett. Has two to beat, and he might beat them both. He just charges past Devonport, who follows up and then slides in pretty recklessly. There, you got the ball. That's it.
I think Bennett made sure he was going to fall on him as well.
There's some confusion there. The strikers thought they were going to get the ball. Coach says goal kick. So
a very good tackle in the end there.
Nicely done. Flew in, did Toby Avine, and there's been plenty of challenges flying in this game. Fortunately, they've all been reasonably well timed.
Yeah, no cheddar so far. I'd be disappointed if there wasn't a couple of slices dished out by Mr. Code in the second half.
Well, there's a few on their final warning. Bennett almost intercepting, and then goes past Fidra for a throw in. Barton gets it to Taylor Last, turning centrally and squaring up there to Ricey. Going on for Duller after he's come to an injury in the opening 10 minutes of the game. Van Dorn to Berezanski. Now Semler, charged down by Dennehy. Can't win the ball back though, Iski Van Dorn. Just tried the back heel to try and win the throw in, but didn't succeed. Fernandez Garrido. Brody Dennehy charging off down the right. Very industrious in the first half with those off the run balls. Spinning away here is Charles Bidwell. Just not quite able to spring his teammate there. And South through Van Dorn. And Semler, he might enjoy being on that side. His killing balls might stay in a bit more on that flank for him. As they'll try and go down the right. Devonport Van Dorn shuts that avenue off. He stays in, play continues.
Be interesting to see in the second half, if we're going 0-0, we're getting into 70, 80 minutes, what the two coaches do in terms of substitutes.
And Savine charges on down the right flank and crosses in, stooping to head clear though. Nicely done, the ever reliable presence in the heart of the defence in Mulroney is.
I think that was the definition of stooping.
Yes, couldn't have got much lower. He'd be good at the limbo, Kieran Mulroney, especially for a man of that stature and with a knee like that. As offside was Garrido, it won't matter, it was cut out by the Bowman. Now, Toby Awine looks up, sees nothing really ahead of him. So just dwells a moment before the runs come and then puts it straight out of play.
Yeah, you expect Miles Barnard's the obvious replacement for Devonport to try and generate a goal if we're going deep into the game. So we've got a bit of running repairs there for one of the Devonport players.
Actually rising by the looks of it.
Yeah, got a fair bit of strapping around the snozzer there. So
Barton heaves it down the line. And that will be a Devonport throw. Bennett doing well, surrounded by red shirts. So they work it up the line here. Barton. Garrido. And a rare miscontrol from the silky Spaniard. He thought he was pushed there.
Just got a little clip on the foot. Yeah, he just pointed to the back of the heel there.
So Havainen has Castaneda presenting short. He'll go further afield in the Morton direction, but just slowing back was Barton. Bidwell sends it forward. Garrido looming, but The situation always under control there from the archer, Jack Bowman. Here's Lakoseljac, the deepest of South Hobart's midfield. He's been shielding them nicely today. Nick Morton, beaten there by Mulroney. The old warrior, as reliable as ever. Sembler breaks that one up. Van Dorn tried the flick on, but missed with the head. Back to Lancaster, and now Bowman shifts inside, looks to drive up the field. Havinen was in some space wide on the right. Morton makes a run. He heads in the Morton direction. Almost stuck it in. Keegan Smith had to scramble across.
That just looked an innocuous ball that was going to go out of play, but oh, hello. Another substitution for Devonport.
Well, the sub has been subbed because that is Max Reisig, who's been replaced by Mitchell Burley. So he came on for Ali Dullah, and his face was very much bandaged up, so perhaps that's the reason, I would have thought, more than tactical.
I'm not sure we saw the reason why the face was bandaged up.
Yeah, didn't notice anything. It was Castaneda to send in the corner. Teasing delivery, but Berezianski couldn't get to it.
So, yeah, young Mitchell Burley, he hasn't had a lot of game time for the strikers this season.
Well, he's got the number 10, and he's got an opportunity to slip through. Flag stays down. Nick Morton dribbling in. Couldn't find Fiddler. It was well shut down again. This Devonport defence as solid as ever. Smith and Mulroney have been fantastic back there tonight as Sembler tries to make a bursting run forward, but couldn't get him behind. And they'll clear the area. Although over the head of Dennehy. Bowman turned it over a little too easily. Lakoseljac across to cover for him. Sembler.
South have started this second half encouragingly.
They have. Dialing up the pressure. Morton making those darting runs in behind. Seems like there's a bit more emphasis on getting the ball forward quickly at the moment from South.
Well, certainly, with Mulroney and Barton both carrying injuries, I'm sure Ken's words. Let's test the endurance and the speed of these boys.
So Smith to take the goal kick.
Oh, look at that ball just hold up and couldn't even get it past halfway.
So South definitely with the advantageous end as Nick Morton skips clear. Rolls it through. Promising move this one. A couple in the middle. Swings it in the Fedra direction, but there was Toby Barton to glance it away. And save the day there. Castaneda takes front position. Just wins it back. South are starting to get on top here, but it's not a great ball to Berezianski and allows Last to cut out. And now perhaps room for a counter. Garrido makes a darting run, and that's where he heads. But he didn't quite have the weight on the pass for him. Bennett loves a shot from range. It takes a deflection, but nothing that will trouble O'Connell.
The definition of ambitious.
It would have been some goal. There's Morton. Back there to Lancaster. Tried to find Van Dorn. Taken away from him, though. Homarati. Now Morton. Well, might have been a good ball if he himself was up there, but as he's been playing as the central striker, there was nobody there.
Just acres of vacant space.
Tom Smith. There's dinks one for Fernandez Garrido. Clever little hook ball there for Dennehy. The substitute Burley in a bit of room. He turns centrally. Showed too much of it to Fidra though. One back. Castaneda just gets rather cynically taken out by Bidwell, and that'll be the first slice of cheese of the evening. And no questioning that one from Charles Bidwell. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He was expecting it.
And into the book goes Bidwell. Jack Bowman over this dead ball. He'll just knock it short. A differing approach from the free kicks from distance from the two sides here tonight. Here's Jaden Fidra. Starting to try and get involved here as the lively winger. Drops it off for Castaneda. Lakoseljac. Great ball for Fidra. Skips onto the right. Squares it for Castaneda. Returns it for Fidra. It's Jaden Fidra! What a save, Keegan Smith! He answers the call. and shuts down the best chance of the night.
Fidler was relatively quiet that first half, but you can see there, you give him a little bit of space, and he works the magic there. And Smith had to pull out one of his better saves this season.
He is starting to loom large, Jaden Fidler. He skipped past a couple there into the box and drew a sharp save from Smith.
South have got Devonport on the back foot here early in these first 10 minutes.
They do. Can they make that count? This is not a side you want to leave lying around when you're in the ascendancy. You need to take your chances against them. Here's Castaneda. It's not great delivery. He doesn't beat the first defender, but the clearance went straight to Iski Van Dorn, and he'll play it back to Castaneda, who punches in a ball, and Fidler volleyed it wide. There was no direction whatsoever, but he had a bit of time and space there, Fidler.
All of a sudden, the Jaden Fidler show has rolled into KG5.
And they need to put the clamps on him right smartly, the strikers.
Charles Bidwell just going, really urging on his midfielders there to cut down that space.
Yeah, they're going to need to track back and give some support here, I think. And South starting to look quite likely.
Like the South Hobart of old, isn't it?
Yes. So Keegan Smith has that one hold up in the wind again, but it works out all right. It's shipped over the top from Bennett. Well handled at the back though. Easily dealt with by Semler. Nods on back. Moment. Pavinen bursting forward, but Mulroney first to it. And Mulroney was just clipped a little on the follow through by Pavinen.
And Cheddar.
And a Cheddar for Toby Pavinen. Well, I think he did get a talking to in the first half, if memory serves.
I think so.
I don't think it was just for that. I think it's for a couple he's had today.
But I think Mr. Code might have got the notification there from the linesman.
Contact had been made on the follow-through, yeah.
So it was a slightly late whistle.
Mulroney not really one to react to that sort of thing,
No.
is he? He's such a tough customer. Don't know if he's actually capable of feeling pain. The knee held together by athletic tape. He's defended nicely, but they've turned it over here, have Devonport, and that might invite a little bit of danger. Berezanski leaves it for Semler. Van Dorn dwells on the ball a moment. Now room for Semler to send the ball in. He can't find a target. He'll roll harmlessly behind.
Some questions being asked to the Devonport defence. The defence is holding up okay. It's probably the midfield where South are starting to get on top here.
Yeah, I agree. They're starting to overrun them a little. Berezanski, Lakoseljac, Castaneda. Lakoseljac winning the ball back's been really important to them, I think.
I'm not quite sure the Devonport bench really has that good midfielder you can bring on. I mean, you've got Miles Barner who can come up front. You've got Eli Wilson who's a defender.
They've already made 2 subs, and if it's normal rules, I think they've only got 1 more, and with the threat of extra time, you probably don't want to use it.
You want to keep one up your sleeve.
As this one's rolled through for Berezanski. And now the play it goes, although I'm not sure if they might have the rules where you get the extra sub when you get to extra time here, I think.
But especially with Mulroney and Barton carrying injuries into this game, you feel like you might need to just keep one in your pocket if they break down.
It'll be a Devonport ball.
In saying that, they both seem to be moving okay. Doesn't seem to be too much limping going on out there between the both of them.
They've certainly been tested in the opening quarter of an hour here in the second half. South dialing up the pressure, but holding out pretty well at the moment. Keegan Smith bailing him out the one time they didn't hear is the lively Fidler. This gets cleaned up like Barton.
There it was.
Crowd like that. Burley tries to get behind. Fidler back on his feet and tracking back in defence. Well, now just trying to score this out of play. Realised it didn't have the momentum. A little dicey that, almost intercepted. Castaneda and Bidwell. And it's going to be a Devonport. No. Code has reversed his decision after looking at his linesman, which will be a relief to Ken Morton, who was just about having a heart attack.
He was just about to pop a valve there, Ken.
He was not happy with that. Couldn't believe what he'd seen 5 centimetres from his face.
He probably felt aggrieved on a couple of decisions in the first half. And I reckon that might have sent him over the top.
What a figure he's been in Tasmanian football.
Amazing that he's still going as coach of this club.
Yeah. Such a storied managerial career, such a massive part of the fabric of Tasmanian football, and so much success. Ken Morton, and looking to add yet another trophy to that already burgeoning resume. And that one will be a Devonport throw. And taken quickly by Bidwell, gives it a heave, but Havine cut it out straight to Burley though. And Bennett rolls it through. Oh, Fernandez Garrido was in behind there. That was dangerous.
I'm not sure Bennett quite realised the ball was there. It was sort of strange. He didn't quite come off his leg right.
There's Garrido just angled his run beautifully. Got him behind. Wag was down. A retreat back to Mulroney. He goes to Smith.
Interesting to see if Devonport just trying to take a little bit of heat out of this game. South have been the better team for the first 15 minutes. Interesting to see if Devonport maybe just try to play a little bit more of a possession game, kicking into the wind.
Going together on the near touchline there. Morton not thrilled with the treatment. Wind continuing to howl here at KG5, and Iski Van Dorn on the ball, but towed away from him. And past an hour, still we wait for our first goal in the 2023 Cup Final. The biggest game on the Tasmanian footballing calendar. The silverware and the spot in the Australia Cup round of 32 on the line. Semler galloping forwards. I think he was just trying to win a corner there by playing it off the defender, but he jumped over it, so they're able to clear here. Garrido with some nice hold-up play. Some really nice hold-up play. Silk, as ever, and in the end, the shirt grab was called.
So it's been noticeable. Denny probably offside there, I think. No.
And he gets that and rolls it back.
He's certainly been a lot quieter the start of this second half, Denny. They've shut him down a little bit.
And this one is swung towards the near side. Havina nods down. Barton steps in. Beaten to the ball by Berezanski, but Berezanski left a little in and a free kick the way of the strikers. Just willing himself there was Barton. In there, clipped, and a pretty promising position for a set piece this. Into the wind might actually help them here in getting it up and down.
It may do. It'd be interesting to see who takes this one. Taylor Last has been doing a bit, but Luke Bennett doesn't mind, as we've seen before, he fancies his chances from long range.
No, Linnell Atkinson, of course,
no,
he's the specialist distance shooter.
Yeah, he's the specialist. And obviously, Joel Stone's headed to Launceston City.
So Charles Bidwell stands over the ball.
No.
Well, he got it up, but he didn't get near.
Never come down.
End it down. Skies it well over the top. If he was counting on the wind, it did not do what he was looking for there. He put that well wide of O'Connell's net. Hasn't been the busiest of afternoons for Nicholas, or evenings rather, for Nicholas O'Connell.
No, made that one sort of save down low, but the shot really didn't have much pace on it. But no, the South defence as a whole has been very impressive tonight.
So Toby Hawaiian led the throw in. Fidra has really started to come into it. Castaneda and Bidwell are coming together. Bennett, Burley, back to Bennett. Great ball to Fernandez Garrido. He's tried to chip the keeper. He saw O'Connell off his line and thought he'd have a shot.
Bit of turtle holding work there from a cup final a few years ago.
I remember that one.
Hit the crossbar.
Garrido, more than capable of the mercurial, is the Spaniard. The long ball. Mulroney has his name written all over that one, and he'll just shield it through to Smith. Who's going to blink first? We're all locked up here at the moment. Mulroney had Morton just coming in there from behind him, trying to rob him. That's not the service Fernandez Garrido wants.
Certainly both benches quiet at the moment.
I think they probably both feel they got their best players out on the park at the moment. They're going to back them in to do it. This one's rolled over the top. A heap of attacking options for South. Dent maybe come on, but I don't know. I'd be taking Fidra off, and then probably not going to take any of your attackers off at the moment, South. They're stars of the side. Here's Castaneda turning back inside. And Bidwell interjected. Lakoseljac, Bidwell, and Bennett. Has some support coming from Burley, but the South defence see it away again. Rosansky working back to support Havinen.
It's really set up for a fox in the box entrance, isn't it?
Well, it is. We'll wait on. But that's a fresh airing. And no harm done. Mulroney.
You don't see that too often.
You don't. Bennett just firmly knocks it back to his centre half.
That was a good old-fashioned, just clean miss.
Smith sends the diagonal for Dennehy. Can he keep it in the confines? He does. Back now to Taylor Last, who's certainly playing a lot deeper in this half than he was in the first. Really pushing up in that first 45. He gets the ball back here as Dennehy wide. That's where he heads. South, plenty of numbers to shut down that side though. And they win the ball back too. So.
It's interesting. South are clearly tightening up a little bit on their midfield defense. Devonport just trying to pass it around, just trying to soak up, make sure South Hobart don't get that attacking threat going again like they had for the first 10 minutes.
Morton tries to make some waves, but again put out a play. Niski Van Dorn. Calgary Flyers been a little subdued in the second half. It's been Fidro who's looked likely. Fernandez Garrido. Jack Bowman, body on the line, saves the day. Wide ball for Fidro in some space. Fidro can have a run at them here. But he can't get past Toby Martin, who shut that down beautifully. His clearing ball not so good though. Allows Havinen in. Fidro squares it up for Castaneda. He wanted to shoot. Shut down by Bennett. Still Castaneda. Back to Lakoseljac. Clever little back heel for Fidro. Broken up and now back the other way through Charles Bidwell, but his opposite number and Castaneda has it. Outside of the boot from Berezanski to Van Dorn. Iski Van Dorn. He's charging in here. Morton making a run. Van Dorn wants to turn onto the right. Well done there by Smith. And Murati, the shot from distance is deflected and comfortable enough for Keegan Smith.
Oh, Morton made that lovely run into the box area. I was just waiting for him to get a bit of service, but just was snuffed out by the Devonport defence.
Fidro couldn't quite win it back there from Mitchell Burley. Fernandez Garrido's taking up a position wide on the left now, and he's asking for the ball. Can Dennehy be sprung in behind here? Vinen had to be careful there. Got it away from Garrido.
Yeah, interesting. The Garrido's come to the left here. I haven't seen him play that position too often this season.
He's wide on the left and he's still wide on the right. Bennett now playing centrally and Last dropping back a little deeper into midfield.
So Burley's had to come off for a bit of running repairs, a bit of blood rule maybe.
Well, they've had to sub the sub. Do they have to then sub the sub? Subception here perhaps to KG5 as Roberto Fernandez Garrido turns towards goal. He runs out of rope. Just sense it's going to be one of those nights won by one single moment. Bowman gets himself in trouble, but he's able to extricate himself and roll it into the path of Havinen. Morton making a run for him. That's where he heads. Morton and Mulroney. Showed too much of it to Mulroney. There's a few defenders you might be able to get away with that on. Kieran Mulroney isn't one of them.
Just the first touch was just a bit heavy there from Morton, and that's bread and butter for Mulroney.
Taken quickly to Havinen. He goes looking for the free kick, and Nathan Coates says, get serious, get up, lad. Not paying that. Bennett puts it out in front of him. A 3-on-3 here, some room to manoeuvre for the strikers. Rolls it through for Dennehy. The offside flag is up. As Bowman lunged in anyway, he wasn't aware. That was a threatening moment as they broke, and suddenly it was 3-on-3 with space everywhere.
And
Nathan,
looks like Burley's had maybe a change of playing top.
Nathan Code, I think, is about to put balance on, is he?
Yes.
Well, the Devonport coach has done something off the ball. We were paying attention to the other end, but he's run over and booked Mr. Valentine.
Not sure whether the linesman had a say in that. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning was. I think Burley's moved into number 18.
Right.
So, blood rule, I would imagine.
Yeah, it must have been. So he's right to continue, which is good to see. South with Semler galloping up the left, trying to get him behind here. As Van Dorn in support, uses him as a decoy, and then eventually rolls it back to him. 3 in the box. But again, the delivery is straight to the keeper.
So Burley's in Lockie Van Newtigam's number. So I'm not sure if poor Lockie Van Newtigam's sitting on the bench with no top on. So he's keeping warm. Certainly starting to chill off here at KG5.
It is. There's Barton. Has the ball out behind. Bennett. Taylor last. Such an impressive young player. Through the plaudits of none less than Archie Thompson in his performance in the Australia Cup last year. In that round of 32 game against the Wellington Phoenix. Did not look overawed by the occasion, the young man who...
He's certainly been getting a little bit more attention from the opposition this year.
He's not flying under anyone's radar, that's for sure. As Bryden just tries to get his body in front and draw the foul, and does so. Well, apparently he flew too far under the radar of the selectors of the Rising Star last year. We'll try to process that one. Like Curtis Miley, to be fair, has been brilliant this year, but I feel like last season was Taylor's award. But anyway, so neither here nor there. We go back to O'Connell. And Bowman, who is going to blink first in this cup decider. Morton the target, but had too much on him. Ooh. Burley bustling through. Last. Burley and Last through the middle. Bennett there too. Garrido starting his run. And then nice work by Berezanski. Semler again over the head of Morton. Not quite giving their talisman the service he needs at the moment.
South's defence doing a really good job just keeping their line, keeping their shape, and just not giving Devonport those runs behind them.
Yeah, it's been night and day from what they produced last week. As this one's shipped over the top. Charging on was Van Dorn. I mean, they just look like an entirely different defence to the one I watched 7 days ago against the Clarence Zebras, where they shipped 5 and could have shipped 10.
It was as I said before, it was just strange to watch. A South Hobart team just, like, they have been a little bit inconsistent in defence this year, but that was just a horror show.
And they've put it behind them and put in a good shift here today, and the big occasion. Morton robs them of it. Now he takes off, surrounded by yellow shirts though. He's the Morthog, and the numbers win out. And they handle him and clear the area. Fernandez Garrido beaten in the air by Lancaster, but now Devonport threatening. Bowman sweeping across behind again. Rolled down the line, no one there but Toby Havainen. Fidra, well, just Laurising a little there, perhaps Fidra. Barton, Burley, Dennehy, Bennett for Dennehy. Dennehy gets in behind. Burley squaring it up for Fernandez Garrido. Has Last in support. And Berezanski puts it behind for a corner.
Probably been Devonport's best build-up for the second half so far.
Not agree, their best move. This time they've really connected 5 or 6 passes together like that.
Yeah, South just haven't let them play that possession game. And saying that, first half Devonport were probably happy. Brody Dennehy getting so much space, they were happy to play that longer ball through him. But it's been noticeable, probably pushing into the win this second half. They've played a lot more of a possession-based game.
So a set piece here for the Strikers. They've been so dangerous from set pieces in this dynasty period. And they have some tall timber to pick out in the middle. One of the keeper's head, and O'Connell just palms it over the top.
Just that dangerous area, just as it was just floating near the crossbar there. O'Connell, he had to be better safe than sorry in that situation.
And these swirling winds, absolutely very tough for goalkeepers to judge. They'll go again. Swung in. Mulroney, but taking it out of the air was O'Connell with authority.
Strong take by O'Connell.
And a great release too to Nick Morton, and he's off to the races here. Nick Morton, he's charging down the left-hand flank. And eventually they conspire to deal with it. And then Nick Morton just puts Taylor Last to the ground off the ball. And they're still squaring up. Well, Morton and Last, I think they're both just trying to goad each other into doing something stupid and reducing the opposition to 10 men. Neither's actually stupid enough to do it. So it's just kind of chesting each other.
And then Dom Smith just came across for a little bit of push and shove as well.
No shortage of feeling between these two teams. Long ball dealt with by Mulroney. And a foul blown on the Canadian Van Dorn, who'll get a talking to here and perhaps just the final warning there. Just a little bit of tunnelling there from the Canadian. The long ball just holds up. Dennehy glances. Fernandez Garrido sends it into space, but O'Connell will collect. They're ticking towards the final 15. We're locked late. We've had late drama in cup finals between these two before. Jack Bowman looks up, assesses his options, and then puts it over the head of Fidra. Barton glanced on by Bidwell.
Did someone say 2019?
Well, the fox in the box is on the bench if the strikers want to get him out there. He might get a penalty if he gets punched in the face on this occasion too. As this one's launched long. Flicked over the top. Fernandez Garrido chips it on for the pacey Dennehy. Semler just got his back a little bit. The ref felt he was just playing for it. He says play on. O'Connell had to get rid of that and did so, but couldn't quite find Semler.
Good pressure there from Dennehy. Just that's what he's known for, that terrier, just chasing the tennis ball type action.
Last tries to get him behind. He had his shirt grabbed there, and just a needless foul to give, really, in a dangerous position. They can swing something in, and with the wind, very tough for keepers.
Smith, Mulroney and Barton just meandering up to the box. Bidwell and Murati holding fort at the back.
And they do it every chance they can, and a good chance here for Bennett to send one in. 6 in the box, including the 3 centre-halves. Can Bennett unlock them? Mulroney headed away from him. And Morton clears it for Van Dorn, who brings it down to his chest. He's got Fidra ahead of him. He puts it out there. It's Fidra against Murati. Just holds up and waits for a little bit of support and then picks out Van Dorn just away from him and deflects safely into Smith's path.
There's 3 Devonport centre-backs. They're not known for their outright speed. Smith, Barton and Mulroney, but they had to haul it pretty quickly.
Yeah, the South attackers were breaking. They had to get the numbers there. Bowman just rather body checks Fernandez Garrido and will likely go into the book for that one. And indeed, a dose of dairy for Jack Bowman. You can argue the point, but that felt like the definition of a professional foul.
Bowman certainly knew what he was doing. I thought he nearly got away with enough there that it would have just been a common foul, but referee Nathan Code decided otherwise.
A pretty good game so far, Cody. He's controlled things well. Tempers have threatened to boil over at times. There's a healthy dislike between the two sides. Let's just put it that way.
It's been built up over so many epic clashes, both in league and cup games over the last 8 years.
We have another one brewing here. Bennett sends it in towards Barton. Burley. It's Burley! Oh. It's blocked behind for a corner. And the youngster nearly had a chance to ride his way into footballing history. He subbed the sub. He's maybe not expecting to play a major role in this final, but he's got the opportunity. And suddenly it's Devonport with a spell here of pressure. Sustained attack. Killed in. Oh, the back post was Mulroney.
Another corner.
Apparently taking a touch off a South body, which might have seen it go over. They'll have another corner. This is a stern examination at the back here for South. And Gus Higgins is being readied, I think, on the bench for South Hobart. Change in midfield, perhaps might come on for Castaneda, might be my guess.
The Devonport bench still pretty inactive at the moment.
Wang in, Bowman heads away, falls to last. Back heels it back. Lakoseljac just prods it into space for Morton. Iski Van Dorn is tearing off down the near flank, and he sends it into the box. It gets there. Couldn't control it, Van Dorn. Oh, it was a massive break there. The strikers breathe a sigh of relief.
I don't know if it had some spin on it or something, but just confounded everyone, that ball.
Haviden's bobbed up here. He's got a few to pick out. Couldn't find Fidra. Toby Barton has defied medical science to take his spot in this starting lineup. Has defended well, and now the Spaniard, Roberto Fernandez Garrido, ran into a brick wall in Jack Bowman. Shut that down. but it falls to Bennett, and Bennett looks for Bidwell. Headed away by Semler. Bennett again. And Fernandez Galino. It's Fernandez Galino! The Spanish hitman strikes again. Time after time. This Devonport team are as clutch as you get. And Roberto Fernandez Galino has put them a goal to the goods with 15 left. And once again, in the big moments, they're pulled out. And the Spaniards with a perfect finish. And boy, has it got loud in Hobart, Lakoseljac.
So clinical. That's the only word I can just clinical. Did not panic. Just measured it up outside of the boot. Beat O'Connell. And he's been worth every penny Devonport paid for.
So, South Hobart now. They've got 10 minutes plus stoppage time, so maybe about a quarter of an hour to respond. The Devonport Strikers, they absorbed the pressure in the first 20 minutes of the half. They bent but did not break. And then when the moment presented itself, there was the most prolific Spaniard, Roberto Fernandez Galino. Higgins has come on in the goal celebrations. He snuck on and has replaced Castaneda. But South Hobart now need to start throwing bodies forward. The Devonport Strikers, 10 minutes plus change away from footballing history, trying to become the first side to win 3 consecutive Lakoseljac Cups. And it's close. They can taste it now. South have had a threat about them, but it has waned a little as the half has worn on. Over the head of Lakoseljac. Iski Van Dorn. Can South respond here? Higgins. Not a great touch, but he won it back nicely enough, Gussie Higgins. Van Dorn. No one was there for his squaring ball. And Bidwell just carries it out and shielding it. Lakoseljac wants the free kick. The referee just says play on, lets them roll. Out the back, and Lancaster will see it roll out for a throw.
All of a sudden, the tactics now just totally changed for both teams. What does Ken Morton do now to try and engineer a goal and force it into extra time? What did Devonport do? Do they make any subs now? Do they bring Eli Wilson on, another defender?
Probably diminishes the chance of a Fox sighting, although they might get a second goal to kill it off here. It's Bennett. He goes looking in there for Burley. Couldn't quite find him. Taylor last. The Strikers, so experienced, so many titles they've won. They know how to kill off a game. They've perfected this art form. Can they do it one more time here? 10 minutes, and they'll have 3 in a row. The Devonport dynasty continuing. South need something late on. And the Strikers doing a good job just keeping a hold of the ball at the moment, although that will give the ball back to South. O'Connell claims. And Lakoseljac kind of sat in front of the back 4 all game, but he's played as a striker at times. Maybe it's kitchen sink time and time to throw him up there. Risk going 2 down to get that equaliser. Flag stays down on Brodie Dennehy. He's got Garrido in support. It's Garrido! And spins back and stays out, and Nick O'Connell keeps his side alive.
Great save by O'Connell, and he had to butter up the second time as well. That ball still a little bit left to be saved.
83.5 minutes gone at KG5 in the decider. They're knocking on the door, the Devonport Strikers. And they just keep this one in the corner a little and take it short, try and run some time off the clock. Or do they send it in the mix-up? Smith staying back on this occasion. So they're not sending all 3 up there anymore. Swung in. A great ball. Morton able to repel. Van Dorn
Apologies to the tweet I just sent out on the Strikers social media account that said the score was Devonport 1, South Hobart 9.
Wow.
my fat fingers just didn't quite hit the zero in the sweet spot.
Yeah, Robbie's goal wouldn't quite have the same impact
No.
if South had put 9 past him. Here's Bennett, couldn't get past Morton. Fidra. So they have a last charge in them, South Hobart. They look so lively at the start of the half. Fidra was threatening to break the game open. How important does that Keegan Smith save look now?
Huge save. They expect Devonport now in this position just to start legally wasting a little bit of time.
I don't know if they saw the Clarence Zebras in the under-17s early, but if you want an example of how to run game clock, that was it. Players going down with cramp everywhere, somehow able to get about 4 minutes worth of treatment for it. There was a serious knee injury, which obviously was not deliberate, but that caused a large stoppage, and somehow we only got 7 minutes of additional time, so it worked a treat for them. I don't think with Cody and Copper on this one, we'll be left short low today, as Morton threatens to get him behind. Two men who like to give him as many minutes as they can. Here's Nick Morton, gets past one, but he runs out of real estate. And it'll be a goal kick.
So, Tom Ballantyne, just looking at the Devil bench, Tom Ballantyne is talking to Miles Barnard.
Oh boy.
Issuing some instructions, so late fox sighting.
Well, in a few years, someone called the Mercury. There's a fox sighting in Hobart. He might
I do distinctly remember back in his younger days, sorry. He did play a bit of defence, I think, in his university days, maybe.
He's very good in the air, so it doesn't surprise me.
I think he'd make an ideal centre-back.
Certainly in this situation, it'll be all hands on deck. The Devonport Strikers looking for a second to kill it off here as Garrido's on the attack, and he just picks the pocket there and lunges in a little late, and thankfully didn't really collect anything. Ball in dispute, big ball to be won, and Toby Barton steps in. Somehow past fit to play this game, and he's been fantastic.
He was a runaway train there, but anything that was in his way was simply just going to get crushed.
And Smith sweeps this one clear, but didn't quite direct it. So it is approaching kitchen sink time here for South Hobart. 3 minutes plus change to go, and then a bit of stoppage time. You'd hope for several minutes. As this one swung in, Smith needs to claim, and he does. It wasn't the most threatening of balls, it just sat up for him. He claimed it.
I'd be expecting at least 3 minutes. And looks like the Fox is ready to come on.
Long for Dennehy, nodded down. It's at the right end of the pitch as far as the Strikers are concerned. They are on the precipice of history here, this magnificent Devonport Strikers side.
Looks like it might be double substitutions.
And a couple being ready as Providing can't flick it past Barton, who plays that absolutely perfectly, keeps it in. And Bowman forced to retreat to O'Connell. He whacks it long, but Devonport are just dominating the skies at the moment.
I'd suggest Barnard comes on for Dennehy. I think Dennehy's just starting all that running in the first half starting to take its toll. Well, it'll be interesting to see who Eli Wilson's defender. So maybe he comes on for a Barton or a Mulroney. No, the sub's getting subbed.
So off comes Richard Burley, who's putting a decent chip. He's off, and well, the Spaniard, Fernandez Garrido. So I'll tell you what, if they were to concede a late one, that would be an interesting move.
Also, your cheap penalty taker, if you need in a shootout, is gone.
So on strides Wilson and Barnard. And Barnard will just sit up top and they'll lump it onto his head. They've got a few minutes left to see this one out. Mulroney clears it away. Oh, but coughed it up a little cheaply.
Penalty?
Is that a handball? Is that inside the box or outside? Big moment here. Handball's been called. And just outside the area it must have been.
Wouldn't mind having a second look at that one, Andrew.
Absolutely. Wow, what a moment that would have been. A very costly moment it could have been.
They just botched that up at the back there, Devonport.
Oh, it's the foul.
That's the foul.
Yeah, okay. It's not handball. Hit him on the shoulder. Yes, it was the foul outside the box.
Because it was a handball, that was about 5 yards in the box.
Yes, but here we go. Big chance.
Straight into the wall.
Poor delivery. He'll get another crack at it. He bends it in. Great ball. Smith comes out and punches clear. Semler sends it across. Curious timing from the spectators to just leave the venue. There's this one. Towards Denny.
Especially someone in a striker's scarf.
Want to beat the traffic, apparently. Anyway, South Hobart about to tick into stoppage time. Brenton Copper about to raise his board and show us how many minutes they've got to find a late equaliser.
What's the magic number?
I reckon Copper's on the board. We'll get 4 minutes here.
Just a lazy 4?
He'll get 4.
Looks like he's signalled 4.
Yeah, bit of Copper time.
Like death and taxes.
As this should be seen out. Morton trying to make a nuisance of himself. He can't. So 4 minutes. 4 minutes away from history. The Devonport Strikers. 4 minutes left for South Hobart to alter history.
Who could be the Oscar Thomas for South Hobart?
The Giraffe. Moving up late.
Fernandez Garrido's made very little speed to get back to the bench. He went off the other side of the ground.
Meandering his way back.
I think he has had a little bit of a tight hamstring the last few weeks.
He may well have done his job. He's got the goal and has one hand on that enormous trophy.
I do love the trophy.
Quite
too.
Physically enormous.
I love trophies that have size about them.
Some serious heft about that one.
It's no Stanley Cup or Daytona 500 trophy.
It's as close as you get at this level, I reckon. If I recall, that was the criteria. Here's an opportunity for Devonport to ice it. Dennehy, and he was shut down. It's at the right end of the pitch for them, though. Wide for Toby Havainen. He plays it behind. Lancaster is charging forward, so they're flooding the bodies forward now. Semler wide for Morton. Can Morton find some late magic here? He skips free into space. He's got Vinen further ahead. He went looking for Fidra. Wanted a free kick, didn't get it. That might be a free kick, though. Morton clattered into. And Nick O'Connell looks to Ken Morton and says, "Do I have permission?" And the Silver Fox, I'm not sure, has given it to him.
He's umming and ahhing Ken at the moment.
Ken just...
O'Connell stuck halfway.
He's just hovering halfway, which doesn't make a lot of sense given... There he is!
Goes.
There he is! Up goes the keeper. Last roll of the dice here for South Hobart. Nick O'Connell up there. All hands on deck. Can they find the delivery?
This would be an Oscar Thomas goal.
Oh. Nick O'Connell up for South Hobart. Dennehy and Bowman back on halfway. Every other player is in the box. It is a massive humanity. Swung to the back stick. It's overhit. He never gave him a chance.
And now he's got a quick sprint back. Although with Devonport is certainly taking their sweet time here, so he's got plenty of time to jog back.
He's staying a long way off his line. Have a shot, Keegan. In the wind might be difficult.
Yeah, it might be difficult. Even a Nathan Pitchford's long leg wouldn't get the distance on this one.
They're almost at the finish line. Smith drives it into space. Nameless ball, really, straight to Bowman. He goes to Havainen, a bit isolated on the right-hand side. Needs to wait for some support. It eventually arrives. Havainen, the cross. Good ball for Iski Van Dorn. And he plays it off Mulroney. Throw in. Last chance saloon just about here for South Hobart. Time running out. They throw it for Semler. He stands it up. It's a great ball. Smith comes out and puts it behind. And another corner. And again, O'Connell will charge up.
I thought Keegan Smith was half a step behind there, but he made the ground. Got the double fist to it. The South charging hard here.
Again, everybody in the penalty area. Final minute of the Cup Final. Swung in a near post, didn't beat the first defender, but he'll get another crack. Will third time be the charm? He's put one too far, he's put one too short. Will this be just right?
I'm surprised Bowman's still back
halfway. Goes short for Semler! Oh, Morton was lurking, but Smith pounces on it. And that might be enough for the Strikers. I don't know if they'll get one more chance, South. That might be that for them. Their race might be run. Lakoseljac They loft it forward, but it's over the head of Morton. And it's rolled behind. And we've ticked past the 4 minutes of additional time now. The Strikers players just inquiring whether the whistle will come here from Nathan Code. I think it's imminent. Smith in no rush whatsoever.
You'll be happy to take a yellow on this one.
Might as well. Although I suppose that would carry into the Australia Cup potentially, so yeah, I can understand why you don't. I'll look at the watch from Nathan Code. Barnard flicks on. South Hobart just send it, but it's straight through to Smith, and he will eat up every second he can. Expertly done by Smith. Two back. The Devonport Strikers create history and become the first side to win 3 consecutive Lakoseljac Cups. Roberto Fernandez-Galindo, their prolific Spanish marksman with the goal. It was a tight battle for much of the evening, but when the moment arrived, there to seize it was the Spaniard. And the Strikers have done it again, Brad.
The only person who should be on the pitch
I'm wearing a fair bit of blue and yellow tonight, Andrew, but they just win. They just know how to win games of football. They're a professional unit. Simple as that.
Hell of a game, that Coley. And what a win, what a team. The conversation now, I suppose, turns to who was best on field in that one.
Oh, well. It was an interesting game because South really, first 15 minutes of that second half, South really, they fired all their shots out. They were going hell for leather, and I thought they were going to get that first goal, but Devonport sort of just held them at bay, played a bit of possession game, and then got that goal through Fernandez-Garrido, which was just all class, a silky move, and look, their defence today was really good again. Devonport can't say enough about that defence. A couple of banged up Warriors there, marshalling it, both Mulroney and Barton. They were both superb again today. I thought Taylor last was good again. Bidwell, he's just turned into that Bo Blizzard type generator in the midfield, and the match winner is Roberto Fernandez-Garrido. He didn't have his biggest day in terms of shots on goal and all that sort of stuff, but when it mattered, he stood up to the plate and put them through the Australia Cup.
So the Strikers do it again. What a team. They just keep winning trophies. It started with Saville in 2016. It's just snowballed from there.
The thing is, Andrew, is you look at all their success since 2016, and it's been under different coaches, and it's been with different playing styles. They've been able to adapt. The core of the team has stayed intact, obviously, which has helped. They've got a very experienced squad, but to do it under a lot of Saville's playing style was
very different.
So much different to what we see today under Tom Ballantyne, but that's different to what we saw under Rick Coughlin and what we saw under Chris Gallo.
Yeah, it's just been success after success for Devonport. There's been different ways, but the result has been constant. This is a side that just knows how to win games. And look, at the hour mark of this one, South were getting on top. Fidra was looming large. Suddenly it seemed like they were under pressure. They just absorbed. They hung in there. They survived. And then bang, in the clutch moments at the end, suddenly they rose. The chance came, and you just knew Garrido was going to take it.
Oh, you do. He's just a clinical finisher, Roberto. And the thing with Devonport is what amazes me, since 2016 they've had all this winning going on at the club, but they've continued to stay hungry. It's just the hunger still remains, and it's amazing to keep yourself up for so long and remain hungry and be at the top of the tree.
Yeah, that makes it now 38 games since they last suffered a defeat. They've got a league. They got Lakoseljac Cup last year, pre-season Summer Cup. They've got the league triumph, and now they've got this one here in that spell. I think 4 trophies in that 38 game.
And let's
spell.
not forget, they've done the double today. They're under 21s, took out the cup as well. So it's going to be I pity the poor bus driver taking the boys home tonight. I'm staying down for the night. Someone asked me if I was going on the bus. I said no.
A younger man's game, Moby Coley.
Yep.
But what a performance from them. And look, immense credit, I think, to their Warriors at the back. You mentioned pre-game, Mulroney and Barton came into this one under significant injury clouds. If it wasn't a cup final this week, probably doubtful both of them are starting. Mulroney, he said, is going to be in for surgery soon. Well, he didn't play like a man who needs surgery. He was a mountain.
I would be interested now to see, with an Australia Cup now on the horizon, what he does, whether he delays that, I don't know. But, look, and credit to South Hobart tonight. I thought they obviously, from their 5-4 loss last week, they were immense at the back today for 99% of the game. I think they can really use this as a bit of a springboard for the rest of the season and push up towards a top 2, top 3 finish. But they lost no admirers today.
Yeah, they battled valiantly. And look, if Keegan Smith doesn't come up with that big save, they lead 1-0. Who knows what happens? But that's probably the difference. Both teams had one really good chance in that second half. Carlito was the man to take it, and he's just done that time and time again. South Hobart, so that they fought valiantly. It was a really gutsy fight from them. It was a massive step up from 7 days ago, but it's not quite enough. They fall short again as Devonport make it now 4-1 in the head-to-head of these recent cup finals.
Yeah, it's for two teams who have been such great teams over the last 8 or so years. Yeah, it's kind of weird that Devonport just have that advantage over South Hobart. It's, whereas this year they've struggled against Clarence Zebras. It's a weird little niche in their season, but they just play well. And look, South Hobart go out to win games of football. They don't go out there to park the bus or anything.
Absolutely.
And Devonport have struggled at times against teams that have gone ultra defensive. Usually takes them a while to break them down. South, credit South. They certainly played their game style today. Devonport probably didn't quite pass as much as what they used to. Probably a little bit more direct for Devonport tonight. Look, on the balance of possession and power, I think Devonport, slightly edged South Hobart tonight and deserved the win.
So that will be their 5th Lakoseljac Cup from 7 appearances in the last 9 years.
So firstly, thanks to everyone for attending the Statewide Cup Final and the Lakoseljac Cup Final that we've just seen. Let's show our appreciation for both teams for the display they put on tonight. I'm going to invite you as well just to welcome Neradine Lakoseljac and her granddaughters as well, so can we please welcome them to assist in presenting the Lakoseljac Cup. I'd also like to introduce Dean Young MP, our Liberal MP for Franklin, to assist on behalf of our Sports Minister, the Honourable Nick Street. So please welcome him along as well. Thank you, Dean. To start our presentations, I'm going to firstly invite you to acknowledge and thank our match officials. So I'm going to invite to come forward and receive their medals from Dean Nathan Code, Thomas Mace, Kai Howe and Brenton Copra. Thank you, gents. Just come back around there. Cool, and I'm going to invite to come forward Nick O'Connell, the captain of South Hobart, just to say a few words, Nick.
Cheers. It's tough to envisage saying a few words after losing and putting everything on the park like that. Firstly, I'll keep it short. Firstly, our boys put everything out there today. We couldn't ask anything more of you, so well in for you guys. Devonport, thanks for a good match-up. Always seems to be. We'll look forward to playing you guys in the league to get those couple games back up on you. And the match officials and all the staff and everyone, thanks for doing the right thing.
Thanks, Nick, and well spoken, mate. Next in proceedings, we're going to announce the player of the match. And I'm going to invite again Dean to come forward and present this trophy. And the winner of our player of the match is Kieran Mulroney. At the same time, I'm going to invite Kieran to come forward and receive his medallion as the winning captain today. And Kieran, I'll invite you to say a few words as well, please.
Thank you very much. First, I've got to get over winning this. Pretty special, to be honest. Anyway, thanks to South Hobart, year after year, you guys. We had many great battles over the years. Unfortunately, today you're on the other side of it. I've been there. It's tough, but you guys are a great club. You're going to bounce back. Wish you all the best for your pursuit of the National Second Division, representing Tassie in that. So wish you the best and hope you go forward in that. Thank you to the refs, FT. Obviously can't do it without you guys. Thank you to my lovely family, as you can hear. Thank you to the fans that travel with us week in, week out, especially for the Cups. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to the boys. Can't do it without you. As you get older, these mean a lot more, trust me. Thank you, boys.
What I might do, Dean, I might just invite the girls to come forward and present the medals. Okay. Kieran, I'll just invite you to ask your players to come forward one at a time and the coaches to receive their winning medals as well. Thank you.
Bennett. Chiku. Maxwell. Mitchie. Fletch. Go on, Fletch. Up you get. Eli. Dory. Toby. Faz. See you over the back there. Come on, Faz. Ali. Brody. Roberto. Keats. Giovanni. Jack Charles. I become Badge. Badge. Kenny. Nick. Tom. Back up. That's everywhere.
Boys, over to the core flute, if I can invite you over. And we'll bring that one back. All right. So, put it back down, buddy. All right. Kieran, one last piece just for you to collect. Kieran, one last piece for you to collect. Slightly important piece. So let's thank you, Neradine. Presenting our 2023 McDonald's Lakoseljac Cup Final winners and our Tasmanian entrant to the Australian Cup. Congratulations, Devonport Strikers. Well done. Kieran, do you want to take that over with the boys? Go and enjoy yourself, mate. Well done, mate.